Good afternoon. My name's Tony Cardenas. This is the Indy Real Estate Market Weekly Update. I got a big question for you guys. Justin Griffith's on the show today.
Hello.
Kyle Morris on the show today.
Hello.
Kyle's with FC Tucker. And Justin, who you with?
Keller Williams, Indy Metro Northeast.
I know that.
It's a long
Okay,
time.
here's a question. The people that are thinking about selling their home now that were thinking about selling their home in May,
Yep.
how much have they lost because they weren't ready to sell?
I don't know. I mean,
That's a tricky question because
very,
look,
very tricky. It really depends on
CNBC's
the
talking
area.
about it.
You're
And
talking about equity. Like that's, I mean,
a guy selling a $500,000 home, he is probably going to have to make some great deal because right now it is truly a buyer's market with these high interest rates.
I would say around number $10,000.
yeah.
Okay.
Ish. Yeah, and it really depends on pocket too.
Yeah, because some of that 10 is just going into like 2-1 buy downs, 3-1 buy downs.
Yeah.
So that's seller concessions. So you may sell it at $500, but you got to do $10,000 to contribute to seller's closing costs for the buy down. But net for the seller, it's like selling at $490, even though you sold it at $500, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. What do you guys, you talk to buyers weekly and sellers. What are the sellers saying right now? I'm talking about in our market area.
I mean, they're worried about the lack of showings. It's definitely slowed down. I've actually been running reports for all my clients, like in specific areas. So, like the ones that's in West Noblesville right now, like in the price point from $500,000 to $700,000, there was only 8 showings in the last 7 days, which is really low.
We have one in a neighborhood where average days on market is like 30 days, and average showings to close or to sell, right, to pending,
Like 3 or 4.
1.5.
Yeah.
In 30 days, 1.5 showings. So it's like it's going to sit, but you just need the right person in there because it doesn't take very many people to come in because the people who are buyers right now, they're buyers.
Actively buying.
They're buyers,
Yep.
which is how it always is in the fourth quarter here. People who buy and sell in the winter here, they're generally people who have to and want to, like they went into it knowing that, right? So it's a little bit different scenario. It's just such a hard pivot from where we were. You know, if you would ask me 3 years ago, you're in the fourth quarter, you're on the market 45 days, I'd be like, yep, makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
And we're like half that right now, and people are like, what's wrong? You know? So
I think one of the things too is like a new construction. Like if you built a home with a builder and you bought in May, you're probably sitting a little negative. All the builders right now are offering crazy incentives. Like I said last week, like we just got one $50,000 off, which is insane. And everyone else
I thought you
before
got a
that-
little bit more on that particular deal.
No, it was $525 down to $475.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
yeah. But to his point, and that's self-induced because they're in a little bit different scenario where they have to move.
Yep.
They have to move.
Trying to get their numbers for the end of the year.
Correct. Yeah.
But that's going to affect the people that built in the neighborhood that paid $550 for that exact same house because that home was originally listed for like $575. So
Right. But to like something you were talking about briefly before we started this, right? It was like, how much equity would you lose over January or how much equity are sellers going to lose? Well, I think the real conversation is how long are you going to stay? That's the determining factor of how much equity you lose.
Yeah, but if you had a guy that was going to sell maybe in May, he says, "No, I'm not ready yet. He's traveling. He's got things got to do." So now we want to.
it's definitely affected the price.
It is, but how much?
How much? It's
But how can we? So if I'm going to have that conversation, do I also have the right to have the conversation of how much did you make over the past 2 years of equity that you shouldn't have made either?
Yeah,
right. I got you.
So it's like, what are we fighting over? And if somebody buys now and has to move in the next 2 years, like it's back to real world experience where you're going to lose money. Like you're supposed to buy a house and live in it 5 to 7 years. That's just how the trend has always been. So if you got to move quicker than that, you should absolutely expect to lose money. Like that's just how it works. The past 2 years were the misnomer on that, right? So
Well, you got interest rates are up. Your 30-year fixed right now. You're hovering around, subject to your credit score, anywhere from 7.25% to 7.5%. No ands, ifs, or buts about it.
It's so crazy.
Right. And you got to watch lenders charging additional fees for origination. Don't be paying any origination right now.
Yep.
And there's no reason to pay it.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy offers from builders, like offering like $29,000 buy down, but they want to jack up the price by that amount.
Well, we
so
dealt
it's
with
like,
that's right.
Yeah.
We discussed one of those last week, and I'm going to tell you something. For a customer to throw $30,000 into the purchase price of their home to buy down the rate, it doesn't make any sense. I don't care what anybody says, because we all know what's going to happen in this market 24 to 36 months from now. There is going to be a change in the market. Who knows what it's going to be? But we're going to go a little higher on interest rates. We all know that. that. Look at the Wall Street Journal behind us.
And they'll
but
come
the
back
bottom
down.
line is,
we don't know where they'll land, but they'll come back down.
yeah, they will come back down. But the bottom line is, they will come back down. There's no reason to take $30,000 or $40,000 and buy your rate and buy everything down. Buy the house cheaper, get a creative rate, okay, on an ARM or fixed rate. Just
Or
buy the
even
bulk.
do like a 2-1 buy down. Like,
Right.
that's like, if that gives you 24 months to,
See how the market works.
yeah, and get used to that payment, and then you can determine if you're able for it or if you need to refi or something like
And
that.
it's prepaid interest, and so if you refi, like that comes back, and technically the seller paid for it, so you're getting money back on top of it, right?
Yep.
So I mean, that's like a whole different complex scenario we can talk about.
Well, there's so many
But
calculators out here.
financing the buy down is not.
Well, let me explain the buy down to you. Okay, so I got the facts and the figures right now. But if a guy is buying a $500,000 home, okay, and he's going to get a 7.25% rate today. That's what the market daily news, the rates are at. Chase Bank's actually, and the PNC and Regions, they're a little bit higher, okay? But if you get a $400,000 loan amount, okay, and you get a qualifying today's rate at 7.25, this is just an example, and you have an excellent credit score, okay, you can reduce your payment from the original payment at 7.25 at $2,278.71 down to $2,208.81. That's a $519 difference per month the first year, which saves the customer a lot of money, okay, especially on a new build if they're a little creative on that, because you're not going to have your property taxes kick in for a while. That's a dry payment. That's principal and interest. Your second year, 6.25%. You're still saving $265.84. But what the seller has to do, or the real estate agency has to do, the mortgage company can't do it. Somebody has to bring $9,428.88
For that
to
buy-down.
the closing, the buy down, and that just goes with the note, and it's prepaid interest and happily ever after.
Yep.
I believe that's one of the smartest things for a buyer to do today.
Right, because they can
okay?
also get it back. Like if it refinances, like anything that was refinance.
Yeah,
that's
but
assuming the rates go down in 2 years, though.
Right,
but-
right. I don't think the rates are going to go down in 2 years, but who knows? I mean, I read the Wall Street Journal and the Barron's Report every day, and they're not seeing it. But the bottom line is the guy does get to save for the first 2 years, okay? And it's no sweat off his back as a buyer, and the seller's creative enough, along with their agent, to say, look, this is a better deal. Why discount our house $25,000 when we can sell our house and write a check for $9,428.64 on this particular situation at 7.25%, at 780 credit score, and an 80% loan to value. That's just an idea of what the market's going to do. And these kind of things right here are going to get creative. ARMs are good, but there's not as good as this for right now.
Yeah.
And why get a 5-year ARM? Because at the end of the 5 years, you won't stay in it that long. You're just not going to. If you're a smart homeowner,
It's a good time to be a buyer. It's
a really good time to be a buyer
Sellers
right
is
now.
Just the tough part, because I got people they want to freak out at 30 days and all this stuff, and I'm looking at the numbers, and I have stuff all the way up to 164 days on market. Now that skews your days on market. I have them at 84 as well. It's going to sell. And so would you rather just sit where you are, do the price reduction, because you're going to get hit most likely with a buy down right now for the most part anyways. Everybody's going to take a run at that. So there's 10 off of it. That's why I said 10 off of the equity. But the sellers, to what you're talking about with showings, like just be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Right.
You got to do some things to make sure it doesn't stay still
Well, I can
on
tell
the
you
market,
this.
But
I've talked to a lot of real estate agents here in the last 10 days. And I'm going to tell you, I had 5 different ones. I'm not going to say the company, and but in this building, every one of them had a different story on a buy down. They don't understand them. And when you don't understand something, you cannot send that
Can't
to
use
your
it as a
customer.
tool.
You
Yeah.
can't use it as a tool. You have to be able to have a full disclosure on a buy down so your customer, the buyer, knows what's going on, and the seller selling the home knows what's going on. But let's don't talk about that. We're done with this. Here's the question I have. Okay, I mean, we can always go deep into that.
Oh, my
gosh,
Okay,
yes,
I'm going to do a couple examples next week on the board with you and I, Kyle, and then Justin's going to shoot some questions at us, and Shelley. Okay, we're going to have to beat it up because we got to give the buyers and the sellers a clear picture of what's going on. But let's talk about what is going on with the market right now. Justin, let's start off with Carmel this week. I normally start off with Indianapolis with you, but you are coming in here for Shelley this week, and let's talk about Carmel. By the way, Shelley is
she's like tropical somewhere, right? Yeah.
It's definitely warmer than it is here. She's
I mean, that's not even fair.
It's not. I'm cold in this room
would you think, okay, I'm a large, you're an extra large, right? And you're a medium?
Plus size models.
I'm a child's large.
Yeah.
Okay, we can never get a straight answer out of him. Here's my question. I wonder if she's going to get us any T-shirts. Probably a cool one.
I'd like something tie-dye with some frills.
Maybe some coconuts, too?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think minimum she should have to run all the numbers by herself next weekend.
No,
absolutely.
Okay, let's start off with Carmel. What's going on in the Carmel market, Justin?
Carmel this week, we had 35 new listings, 18 of which pended, and that leaves a total of 217 on the market right now, so up just a little bit. We had 29 closings, average price of $579, which is actually up a little bit on the average. Days on the market is 18. And
Carmel.
In Carmel. And the closing prices was anywhere from 173 up to 1.25 million.
So a 1.25 million closed?
Yep.
Okay.
All the way down to 173. So
really?
Yep.
Condo.
Yep,
Condo.
exactly.
That's right. Well, all right, let's go over to Westfield.
Westfield, we had 20 new go on the market, which is a total of 187 now on the market. That is up. We had 28 penned and 20 sells. The average price of $485, and days on the market is 29 in Westfield.
What was the low in Westfield?
265, and it went up to 1.235 million.
Wow. That's then you got Zionsville?
Yeah, Zionsville, we had 17 new. Of those, 11 pended. So there's still 57 on the market. Not a lot of inventory in Zionsville.
What a good week for sales.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great week.
Yeah, we're up across the board from last week from what we were looking at. We had 11 closings. Average price up there was $706,000. Price anywhere from $279 up to $1.7 million.
Wow, that's good.
Yep, and they're averaging 6 days on the market for the closings that we had this week.
Okay. Wow. I'm going to shift back to you in just a little bit. You got that part of the Hamilton County. Let's go over to you on Hamilton County. Kyle.
So for Fishers, we had 22 go on the market in the past week, anywhere from 219 to 1.50. It's a weird number to say, but $1,050,000.
Okay.
Anyway, so, but it's weird because you're like, hey, sales are good, right? So for the 22 that went on the market for the week, 17 of them are still active, right?
Okay.
So 5 of them pended. But actually, if you look at how many pended in the past week, 20 pended in the past week.
Okay.
So that's quite a bit. So, but it just
the ones
goes
that are sitting are still moving.
The market.
Exactly. Right. That's
Our
the thing.
market is good.
It is. So the 5 are the ones that sold in less than 7 days, right? They're the ones that we talk about where it's just turnkey. It's absolutely beautiful. It's what you would see on
Right, but you got
HGTV.
some of these builders wrapping up these homes too.
Yeah.
So those are those numbers that are coming in where these people have been waiting 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 months to move in their home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're probably going to have a really good closing month this month and next month.
Correct. Because a lot of, I have a couple of new constructions that are all closing here at the second week of
Okay,
December.
recap.
Real quick, so Fishers is 17 days on market, right?
Yeah.
But the inventory for Fishers has actually gone up a little bit. It's 159. But I did look at, how many closed and what average days on market, or not average days, but, high versus low of what it took to close. Highest one was 84 days. And obviously there's ones that sold in 1 day, right?
Sure.
So when we're looking at 17 days on market and 20 of them actually pended in the week, on the high end, you were at 84 days. And to your point, when I was looking at these, a lot of those higher ones are spec homes, right? That
they're
sold
before
when
they're even built. Yeah.
right, or they they haven't done any of the finish work, right?
Okay,
So,
give me those numbers. Just recap those numbers for me.
so for Fishers, it was 22 hit the market, 17 are active, 5 of them pended.
Okay, what's
Right.
next?
And then Noblesville, a little bit lower. So they had 20 go on the market, anywhere from $85,000 to $880. 16 of them are still active. And
$85,000. Would they do get the front step?
Yeah, well, Noblesville.
They got some old homes in there.
Noblesville's really cool, especially downtown. You can get like a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath in
Little
downtown.
bungalows, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a great opportunity.
Well, especially because they're doing a ton of development on the waterfront there, right?
Yeah.
Like actually on the river. So, and that'll change everything in that downtown area.
Okay.
But so 4 of them pended, but Actually, that pinned it in the past week in Noblesville. 27 of them pinned it. So even more actually sold there than in Fishers. But their inventory has stayed a little bit more steady state. It's a little bit lower. It's at 133 actually on the market. Their days on market is a little bit higher. It's 27 days on market average to pinned. But when you look at that, my high end was 164 and then 1 day, right? So 164 for a spec home is really going to skew that number up to 27 because I feel like all of ours, for the most part, especially in Hamilton County, Zionsville area, we tend to be staying around this. It fluctuates, I feel like, between 14 and 21 days.
Right.
It has since August. Right. So I feel like we're staying in that area for the most part. So.
Okay. Justin, let's jump back over to you for the Indy market.
Yep. Broad Ripple, we had 5 new listings this week, which leaves a total of 23. Of those 5, 2 of them pinned. And those are priced anywhere from $139 up to $1 million.
$139.
Yeah.
Damn, I need to jump down there and buy.
Million in Broad Ripple?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Seems like that's at the tail end over by Meridian Castle.
Yeah. It's like on the burbs.
Okay, we got Broad Ripple. What's next?
We had one sell to average days on the market is 26 right now for Broad Ripple. Meridian Kessler, we had 5 new, 2 of which are pending, and there's only 26 total on the market, which is really low right now. Priced anywhere from $169 up to $1.5 million.
Wait a minute, that's a Meridian Kessler?
Meridian Kessler, yep. And we had
26 available Meridian Kessler.
That's it.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I feel
pretty
like
low
I looked
though.
at all of them too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I remember when we were back in February and March.
It's like 8.
There was 8 or 7 or 3.
Yep.
You know what I mean? All right.
Yeah, there's options out there now. We had 6 closings, average price of $459, and days on the market is 44 in Meridian Kessler.
All right.
Those closings. Bates Hendricks, we had 2 new listings, which is now 9 total, which is really low for that area. One of the new listings pinned, and we had 2 closings, average price $215. So those were fixer-uppers, and they're still closing, which is still good for us in that area. Average days on the market, 22. And lastly, Fountain Square, we had 1 new listing, which is 35 total now, and we had 2 closings, average price at $222, 16 days on the market. So it's slowing down. Yeah, downtown.
What was the low on that again?
I did not put it on there for Fountain Square. Okay. Not have that.
I like that since I got one coming up there soon.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not a lot, so
There's
I mean,
not.
yeah.
Yeah, you got one that you're working on right now, correct?
Yeah. It's a beautiful home.
What will that be going for if you had a...
I mean, I got to run the comps. I generally, I run some rough comps, but I don't want to, I generally won't run
We'll talk about that next week.
until the week that I list it because things fluctuate so much.
Okay, so here's the question I got. All right. If you're selling a home in this market, doesn't matter where, here in our market, Indiana, what does the seller have to do so they can move their home quickly? I mean, some of these homes are quick, and I think these people are getting their homes ready. They're being a little creative. They're cleaning everything out. They're making them look fantastic. Yeah. Remember, 6, 7, 8 months ago, you didn't have to do anything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're offering incentives on all of our listings right now for rate buydowns. We've done incremental, very small price drops right now because, again, it's not the price necessarily. It's just the amount of showings that you're getting right now.
Right.
So we even did an open house this weekend. We had a good turnout, actually. So.
We've been having a ton of good traction at all.
I've seen a lot of Keller Williams signs out there. I've seen a lot of FC Tucker signs out there. It's funny. I haven't seen a lot of Remax signs, but I'm probably just going in the wrong area. I've seen a lot of Compass signs up here in the Hamilton County market. I didn't get too much down to Indy this weekend, but it's crazy. You're starting to see these signs with these open houses, and it's like you said, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows. Is we're getting back into a normal market.
Yeah, it's like what we used to have to do to sell a house. Like,
I know.
It's funny just seeing people freak out. They're like, "Wait, what do you mean I got to do something else other than just enter it and be done with it?" It's
right. Well, it takes a lot. Here's what people don't understand. That's why people need to hire a realtor. Yeah. It takes a lot of work to get everything done. It's just not about hiring you and say, put my house in the MLS. Maybe it was for a minute, but there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of follow-up to do. There's a lot of coaching to do to get that price. And you always say to me, when you list a home, both you guys say it, Shelley says it, Greg Cooper says it, when you list a home, you got to list it right. And then how many days until you normally start dropping the price if it's not selling?
For me right now, 18.
18?
Yeah, 3 weeks to a month. I mean,
okay.
Because we're getting traffic. It's like the feedback we're getting is good. It's just a matter of people realizing it.
And to your point, even at 18, it's like we'll do five a week.
Yeah.
I'd rather do 5 a week than drop it 20 in 1 week and just sit stagnant again.
Right.
Because you got to stay fresh on the market. And I'd hate to drop it 10 and could have sold it for 10 less, but I dropped it 20.
Well,
right.
Or you drop it at 25, and then it's like someone comes and lowballs you after that, and it's like
you're like, this was our move, right?
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts your seller. It just hurts your seller. I mean, if it's not, you got to make it good for both sides, because if you don't have sellers, we're not going to have any buyers.
But your question though, so you said, okay, so what does a seller have to do to sell a house quickly right now?
Yeah.
And I would say my first conversation would be, what does quickly mean?
Well, I'm talking 15, 28 days.
It's got to be
it's a
turnkey,
unicorn. It's got to be a
ready.
unicorn home too. It's like when you walk into a unicorn home, it's like
You know.
everything is done to the T's, and it's like it'll have something unique too that all
clean,
the other
it's
homes in
bright.
the neighborhood don't have. I mean,
Yeah. You know when you walk into it, you do. And it's sadly, it's 10, 15, 20% of homes. It's just not every home, right? But every person thinks their home is that home, which is great. That's why a home is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But it's just not accurate, right? You've made it that,
Right.
it's your memories have created that as to why it means so much to you and why you think it's so great. But it has to show a certain way. It has to be priced right. It has to be in a good location. It just goes back to the tried and true stuff. It has
just
to be
being
priced
news not
correctly.
enough. Yeah, like one of my listings I have in West Noblesville right now. It's to rebuild the same exact home is more than what we have it listed for now, and then we have $50,000 in updates that they've done post closing.
Right.
Pergola, stamp patios, epoxy
Just,
floor, everything. It's just
where we live. Okay, it costs another $100,000 to build your house, and another 150, maybe 2 bills to build mine.
yeah.
That was a
I mean,
small
I'm not-
flex right there. by
yeah,
the
it
way.
was maybe two.
No. I'm just saying the bottom line is, if I sold, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go from my interest rate, which is good, to a 7 1/4.
For a lateral move.
Unless you buy it right. Yeah, you just have to buy the next one
Right.
right.
Right. And if I,
Which is
if
what
I buy
people are
anything, I'm
doing.
going south. Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm flying south.
Which is
Okay?
why buyers, so sellers think about, like I'm being impacted as a seller. They haven't thought about how they're being impacted as a buyer.
Right.
And what kind of leverage they have, because they're more concerned about their take home and all these other things, but they're not thinking about the next move. And
Right, the next
what's the
move where
goal
they can
is to
pick it up
actually
a little
move.
bit. Right.
Exactly, right.
Okay.
People don't think about that stuff.
All right. Hey, we're 22 minutes in the show.
Deuce,
Justin,
deuce.
how can somebody get a hold of you? What's the name of your company you work for?
Keller Williams, Indy Metro Northeast, and Griffith Property Group. You can reach me at fishers.realestate or customcontainerbuilders.com.
What's your telephone number?
317-507-5599.
What company you work for, Kyle?
It's Moore's Property Group with FC Tucker. Phone number is 317-649-5122.
Okay, hey, everybody, if you guys want to know about rates or how to get a hold of these guys on our show, Indy Real Estate Market Weekly Update, give us a call at 317-480-4115, and you can look us up at www.indypodcast.media. See everybody and have a great day.